Hello there and welcome to Channels Beam. I am Victor Matthias. Nigeria has come a long way with lots of ups and downs through the past 54 years, and our focus on the program will be on the journey so far, its achievements, failure, and the next step. But just before we begin that conversation, let's take a look at what Nigerians were Googling in the past week. Google. Google was on the receiving end as Nigerians frowned at the icons used to depict Nigeria on the Google Doodle on Independence Day. Koro Nation. The Minister of State for Defense, Musiliu Obanikoro, made his interest to contest the Lagos governorship known, and the hashtag Koro Nation flooded the Twitter streets with Lagosians and Nigerians at large, either pledging their support or otherwise. Those were the trends. Let's move to our online contributors.
By now, in 54 years, by now we should not still be talking about these basic things like power supply, water, road network. By now, those things should be a thing of the past in 54 years. Those basic things should be a thing of the past. Those shouldn't be things that we should be hearing during campaigns again. So, that's a minus to me. That's a minus. Any serious government should tackle those basic things where at least there's stable lights, there's running water, there's good road network around the whole country, and then you can now start talking about economy, building and everything, economy. And I noticed that we started with, I think it was Obasanjo's tenure where he brought in the EFCC. So he was making some strides when it comes to tackling corruption. Although these days in newspapers, when you hear about some things that are happening right now, you think that when it comes to corruption, we've been taken aback because we now see more people escaping, or more public people just acting with impunity. The other day, a judge was beaten in a state, which is not a good stop in news in any way.
The military, most of the problem we've had in this country has been caused by the military. Ever since the coup and every other thing that's happened then. But now you have the Boko Haram issue that is going on, and the military have lost lots of lives, we have lost lots of soldiers there. And concerning this sentencing them over the mutiny issue that is going on, I think the military should just try, and there should be fair sentencing on all of them. Shouldn't sentence them to death. They can just maybe they can use some years in prison and maybe leave them alone. That's what I feel should be done. And the military needs to be, it needs to be reorganized. They need to do things professionally. I think that's what the role of the military has to be. The military has to help its citizens. They need to really work with us, and for them to be able to give us good security, secure the nation, and build the nation also, because they are part of the political system also.
I don't believe there's a Nigerian dream, because you don't just wake up and start dreaming. You dream and then you wake up to realize your dream. So over the years, we've actually gotten it wrong. We've gotten it wrong in the sense that we've not really seen the law of cause and effect take real action in things. So what we see is a lot of young people, their basic dream is to mostly to go to school. Of course, it's not everybody that would have the opportunity of getting an education. Mostly to go to school, come out, get a job, raise a family, and then the cycle continues. And in between, you know, we have this tendency to provide for ourselves. So everything we need, we tend to provide, because the tax system is not even effective enough to really, really place a demand that the government should make all those provisions. So we're comfortable to make self-provisions for ourselves. So we dream just within the circle of me, myself, and I, me, my family, and I. So there is no dream.
Okay, let me just say some things about what Blossom said.
Okay.
We really don't have anything like Nigerian dream. You know, in the US, there's something you call the American dream. You know, everybody wants the nation to be great while you're also developing yourself and, you know, assisting your fellow humans. But over here, it's not like that. Look at the issues we've had since independence, or shortly after independence. The first school we had. Now, if you go to the Nigerian schools, they've washed all of that out of our history. Nobody knows anything about the Nigerian. Now, how do we progress if we don't know where we're coming from? How do we know what we're going to? You know, if you don't know our history. And today, those issues keep repeating. You have writers writing about it. We have people making films about it. We know recently a film was put them to edit some things. You know, we have serious issues in this country because of our past, and yet we have not learned anything from those things. More than ever before, the country is divided. It's divided along ethnic line. It's divided along religion and tribal line. But it is a pity. Now, if you're not united, like Blossom said, we cannot have a Nigerian dream.
I do agree with what Blossom and Ilo was said in that there is no Nigerian dream. But I'm going to say that in a way which is kind of sarcastic, that there is a Nigerian dream. And the Nigerian dream is to win a visa lottery and go to America. Get a visa, go to UK. If you have money, go and buy a house, send your children, you know, if you have somehow stumbled upon 5 million naira that you didn't account for, just go and buy the latest technology or the latest car, you know, put a better sound system, you know, like, you know, let your neighbor know that you have arrived. Do all those things. These are the type of dreams that are, unfortunately, are the Nigerian dreams. And we see how it is affecting our mentality, our attitude in the whole system. Just, I don't know the numbers, but I can vouch that there is hardly anyone in Nigeria that has made money in close to more than half a billion naira that has not thought about going to buy a house abroad. That has not thought about going and spend this money lavishly. Look at the Nigerian dream now, to go to Dubai and have a wedding. To go to some countries, you know, and just go lavish money. These are the type of dreams which has nothing to do with positioning our system, our society, our educational sector, our health sector to become viable, to become strong. So yes, I do agree with the guys that there is no Nigerian dream. But on the other hand, it is because this is the type of dreams that the Nigerians are having.
It's actually like a wake-up call to young people. And by young people, I mean people that are 35 years and below, not those above that. It's a wake-up call to them to realize that there is no dream that they can just wake up to live. So and the onus falls on us to actually see ourselves as the custodians of tomorrow. But then that tomorrow, if we keep looking at it in the lines of you are the leaders of tomorrow, then that tomorrow is not going to come. So the best thing we can do for ourselves is to more or less, not really to disalienate ourselves from the older generation, but to realize that if we don't do something today, then the tomorrow would become elusive in the sense that we would get to tomorrow in our 50s. We are still struggling to be relevant. We are still struggling to you know, probably have one political office or the other. So if we don't shake off that toga of youth today, then we're not going to have any relevance. I'll be turning 33 in December. And as far back as 3 years ago, I told anyone who cared to listen that I'm no more a youth, because if you keep brandishing that youth currency, it places its own limitations on you. Nobody is going to ever take you serious. So the earlier we realize that we are not just youths anymore, but we are, that the future of Nigeria lies on our shoulders, then it's easier for us to find a way to unite our voices.
No one gives you power. You take power. We are a greedy set of human beings, and if you think some of these old politicians will just sit down and say, okay, 30% of the votes, let's give it to you, I think it really doesn't. They wouldn't even do that. And to me, it doesn't really make much sense. Why should they give you power just because you're youth? If you're youth, you really want power, all you need to do is come together. We can see what is happening in Hong Kong today. They demand democracy. And those are kind of things we need to do. For us to change some things in this country, we need to really have some radical revolution. It might not necessarily be bloody, but at least we have to demand some things by force, by us uniting. You can't just go and cap in hands to the politicians and tell them, please give us 30%. They'll see us unserious human beings. But imagine 10 million youth or 20 million youth or 50 million youth in this country are coming together and they are only voting for youth. They have no choice. We might even take more than that 30%. We might take 70. We might take 90. But we need to unite. But like I said earlier, our problems are very, very, they are deeply rooted. And so it's not just about we coming together alone. There's the issue of poverty, which would make youth always go back to the politicians, to the rich, corrupt politicians, and they always give them money to change things in their favor. So nobody will give you power by you demanding. You take it, unite together and take it.
The Twitter campaign about 30% or nothing. But I put it this way. Our problem is not either it's the youth or it's an adult that is occupying the position. Our problem is how our mentality towards everything, how we handle things, what does our constitution say or gives us the power the constitution gives people when they occupy offices. How many young people have we heard in the history of our country since democracy that have been indicted for one corrupt act or the other? That some of them have actually been paid money to get out of the whole issue, and some actually were, sent to prison. The issue is not if we get 30% or not. The issue is how to deal with the way we run things. If I become a president today, can I really ignore the federal character quota and just go and look for competent people, irrespective of the majority of them are Northerners or majority of them are Southerners, and I don't think about which ethnic group is being represented, and I would not listen, and I would ban any campaign on the newspaper that is going to be talking about or anything that is going to talk about anything. Can we really do that? You see, we are first Nigerians before we become politicians. And it is with the politicians, we cannot expect them to change if we do not change as individual Nigerians.
I have a dream in such a way that on a particular in a particular time in the future, the American president will come to Nigeria to come and spend his holiday. At the moment, they go to Matters Vineyard. That's where the American president goes for their holidays. But where does ours go? They go outside the country. They fly over there, for their medical tourism, holidays, and all that. And I see a dream. I see a day where our Nigerian president will go to a place like Obudu Ranch, to rest for a weekend or something. I have a dream that it will come to a time in this country where we will not only fly outside, for medical tourism, but those outside will fly into this place.
Well, to add your voice to this conversation, just tweet at us using the hashtag Nigeria at 54. We'll take a break, and after that, Paul Uto will join us.